Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable right here on Facebook at Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do this live stream Sunday through Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I really am. I enjoy our spiritual conversation that's based on the divination cards that I draw in the morning. Yeah, and I can hardly wait to see what you guys have to say about today's cards and, just kind of chat it up, right? Yeah, so today's Sunday, that's August 4th, and I have to say this out loud. It's one of my BFFs since I was in third grade. That would be Marley's birthday today. We're finally the same age. She's actually 5 months younger than I am. And so today is her birthday. And I just wanted to say happy birthday in case she is going to be watching this as the recorded show because she's pretty busy today. And so happy birthday, Mar. And welcome to all of those that are in the live chat. I certainly appreciate the time that you take to be with me during this live stream show. And thank you to those that are watching the recorded show. Thank you so much. I know, we love our recorded shows, our archived shows here at Star Nations because, we know that we live busy lives, right? We can't be there for every single live show. And so we actually watch each other's shows, and so we love our recorded shows. Yeah, yay. And today is such a beautiful day here. It really is. It's about 83 degrees and partly cloudy, So it's warm, but it's not like hot. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Before we get too far down the road with the card information, I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to sprinkle, send the live stream over to my my news feed, just to remind my friends that I'm live streaming. And I just have to find our live stream. Here we are. So I'm going to love it. And I'm sharing, I said that S word. I'm sending it over to my news feed. I'm trying really hard not to say that other S word. It is a hard habit to break. It's not as hard as smoking. But it's right up there near the top. It's when you've been using the same word and the same request for 2 years, it's really kind of hard to break. So we're trying the word sprinkle to send, and anyway, is just in case that somebody who you feel that might be looking for this kind of conversation or this spiritual community. Is to send the live stream over to a friend or to your news feed, right? Yeah. Sometimes, what I feel like it's kind of like a civic duty of light workers and energy workers. Whenever we find a post or a video, information that is helpful to our spiritual growth, our journey here, right, is to share it. Because if we were looking for it and we found it, then somebody else is looking for it too. And so it's just kind of a nice thing to do, right? So I'm just saying hi to my friends and reminding them that I'm live streaming and wondering if they want to come out and play in the live chat. There we go. And we'll put a couple of emoticons on that. There we go. There you go. I think Stephanie is going to be in the house today, but I'm not sure. I think I'm going to send it over to the live stream show closed group. And there we are. Had to find it. Okay, so I'm just going to let the peeps know to remind them that I'm live streaming. And just asking them to please join. There we go. There. I know it doesn't take long. Here we go. All righty. Now, let's check out who's in the chat. Right. So Julie's here. Hi, Julie. It's good to have you here on a Sunday afternoon. And Rochelle's here too. She's saying, hello, Neshi. Hello. She's sprinkled and grounded. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. And look, Jen's here too. Good morning, Jen. Jen is from Australia, and so it's very early in the morning for her right now. And so I appreciate you being here, Jen. And look, Marie just popped in too. Hey, happy Sunday to you too, Marie. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here. One of the things that I noticed about the energy today is it's not moving like entirely fast. Usually, my day goes by really, really quickly, and I feel like I just got up and it's nighttime already, and I fit so much stuff into that time frame, right? But today it's a little bit slower. I don't know about you guys. It's a little bit slower. This is my second live stream today. And maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But it feels different. It feels different. For those who might just be joining us, and this is the card deck that we're using right now. It's called the Shaman Wisdom Cards. It's by Laida Richardson, copyrighted 1998. 1998. Yeah. Yeah. This is, I think we've been using this not quite a month. Not quite. Get to the first card. First card we've had before. Jen is saying, yep, it's 5 a.m. Monday morning for her. Thanks, Jen. Is Star Nations. We are a global multimedia company. Star Nations community, all those who watch the live stream shows, read the magazine, attend the classes, we're from all over Grandmother Earth, from everywhere. Sometimes it's a little shocking to me, to think and to feel that we have this much of a reach, that we're a spiritual company that is helping as much as we possibly can, to offer information and to offer a community, right? And so, like Jen is from Australia. We've had live stream show hosts that are like Mervin's from England. Paul Krause is from Japan. We've had contributing writers from South Africa and Ireland and England. We've had them from Mexico and Canada. We have community members that are from not just South Africa, but other countries within Africa. We have people from Israel and Venezuela and Portugal, Japan, Taiwan. I know I'm missing some. New Zealand, Greece, Italy. Yeah. It's just surprising sometimes to me. It really is. And yet it's so much fun because we're finding that we are so much more alike than we are different, right? And that what we're searching for is spiritual information that is helpful to our soul growth, right? Yeah. And so, yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. So it looks like Stephanie's in the house. She's doing some of that. Hi, Maya. Yep, from South Africa, right? So good to have you here, Maya. And R.S. Raz, hi, Neshi Ricky from Amsterdam. Thank you for your time. Well, thank you for being here, really. What we really enjoy is having about a topic, right? And having different perspectives on that topic. It helps broaden our view and our understanding, and it also deepens it. And that's always a good thing, I think. Second stream? Yeah, I know you weren't around for the first one, Stephanie. It was actually to another closed group that I'm a member of. And yeah, I was helping them to understand the unity breath meditation. And so it was to a different closed group that I'm a member of, and has nothing to do with Star Nations in specifically. Because I'm a member of a couple of different mastermind groups, and one of those mastermind groups has a closed group here on Facebook, and they had asked me if I could come and help them understand what the unity breath meditation was all about, and so I did. It was kind of fun. It was fun. All right, so here is, I'm going to turn off the crawler. It's kind of, yeah, there we go. Just put my name up. Okay, so we've had this card before. This is Redwood, Feminine, North, Mars, and Earth. It's the 46th card in the deck. I just want to check something here. I forgot to change microphone. There we go. Sound's going to be a little bit better. I forgot to turn my microphone, my external mic on. All right, so Redwood. Do you remember when the last time we had Redwood? It was about a week ago or so. Redwood is a very large tree found in Northern California here in the United States. It's not as big as a sequoia, but redwoods are huge, huge trees, and they grow to be hundreds, if not thousands of years old. They carry a lot of the earth history in the area that they reside. They are universal broadcasters. Yeah, Redwood. The last time we had that card, I had asked the viewers in the chat if they had ever experienced being with redwood trees, those big trees, right? And some of the audience did, and so we were sharing about that experience. And I have a few times, and I was sharing that you never really forget that connection that you've had with them, because it's such a big energy. It's big medicine, right? Yeah. And their root system goes down so far into Grandmother Earth. And so when you talk about grounding, oh my goodness, they are so grounding, and their canopy is so big that their root system is huge, right? And both science and, of course, our ancient ancestors, they already knew this, but science is finally backing them up. And that is, trees communicate together. And not just within their own species, but it's intercommunication, right? And so a lot of their root system of many different trees all reside in the same ground, right? In the same part of Grandmother Earth. And so their root system cross each other and touch each other. And so they have a lot of communication through that means, but also through their branches and their leaves. So there's a whole lot of communication going on with a lot of indigenous people call trees the standing people. That's the standing people. And so our relatives, the trees, they have all kinds of communication, right? Yeah. Redwoods. I was just thinking about the last time my sisters was here. It was Minnie Kansman was here, and we had a class here, and she was doing at Star Nations Academy, and she was doing forest bathing, Shinrin, if any of you are familiar with that. And so we were outside, and she was, leading us through the different exercises for Shinrin. And there's a very large white pine between this building, the academy, and my home. And I was drawn to go stand by this huge white pine. And it had asked me to put my hand on the trunk, right, to feel its bark and that sort of thing. And so we were connecting. And this tree was telling me that, just because they reside outside of our homes, that they know everything that's going on within our home, that's going on in our lives, because they're here to support us, right? And so this white pine was saying anytime that I needed assistance with grounding, or if we were having a class here and we wanted to ground certain energies for the class, that it was more than happy to help us with that. But she actually had me go and stand on a certain side of her so that I could see the street that runs in front of my house. It also has a street that comes up. It's kind of like a T, right? And the white pine is near that junction, that T junction between these two streets. And she was saying, take a look. Start here, take a look. And so I was seeing what she was seeing in the direction she looks, right? And so looking at what was in front of her in that direction, and then she had me move in different places around the base of her tree. And she said, so this is my different perspectives, is that it's 360 degrees, which is a 9. It's all about completion. And so I share that with you only because when we talk about redwoods, they're even bigger. And so they get to sense, feel, and see what's going around in their life even further in that 360 degrees. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. I was just listening to what my team was saying. They were talking about 360 degrees, that we also, us two-leggeds, us humans, we can sense, feel, and see 360 degrees as well. That it's our physical eyes that are forward looking, right? But when we include all of our senses and all of the different ways that we have to take in information, that is actual spherical, that it's 360 degrees in all directions. Yeah. And so when we talk about the medicine wheel, right? And the medicine wheel, there are 7 directions, right? There's east, south, west, and north. That's 4. And then you have Grandmother Earth, that's 5. And you have the Creator, that's 7. And then you have the within, right? So there's 360 degrees there. But we also have the crosswinds that's on the medicine wheel. And so those crosswinds, there's 4 of them. Right? So there's 11. There's 11 different directions on the medicine wheel. And that's a master number. And the medicine wheel is a template, an energetic map for our earth life. And I always find it fascinating that we have those 11 ways of bringing in information on the medicine wheel, and 11 being the master number for the physical world. No coincidence. No, it's like somebody maybe designed that, right? Created that. And so we have a way to bring in a whole lot of information. And when you're a redwood and you're that big, you're bringing in a whole lot of information through, right? So one of the things that trees, and especially redwoods, teach us is about grounding. So that when we're grounded to Grandmother Earth, we have the ability to take in much more information in many different ways, in all that 360 and with all of your senses. That's a lot of information coming in. But we have the capability of doing, taking in what's optimal for us when we're grounded and when we're centered. Right? Yeah. Redwoods. Let's see what the author has to say about this card. Okay. All right. So here is what she writes. She says, I am Redwood. I am the majestic grandmother spirit of the forest. Through my roots, you'll come to understand that trivial relationships, friendships, can become profound relationships. I am unending. I am lasting truth that aims you toward the ultimate wisdom and knowledge you are seeking. I extend your awareness of the universal experience. Consider the eminence you are placing on yourself by restricting your forward growth or upward growth. I come of age. You must also come of age, grow up, and face that which is on your path. So really, when we take a look at the words here, feminine, my camera, sorry about that. Feminine, North, Mars, and Earth, right? So we got a lot of feminine energy here. Because even the North, the direction of North on the medicine wheel is feminine. The Earth is feminine. Mars happens to be a masculine planet. But there's a lot of feminine energy here in this. And the Redwood is known as the majestic grandmother spirit of the forests. And so the energy of the North is also about the elder. It's about the ancient ones and the elders. So we have an elder telling us to grow up and face what we need to face in order for us to grow, right? The last time we had this card, it was like saying that, your grandmother's telling you to get off the couch, to get moving, to do something that is going to help you in your life. And so an elder, when they speak out of respect, we listen to what they have to say, right? And I have to say, and I'm probably going to rub a few people the wrong way when I say this one, but even when an elder speaks, I think that we need to discern for ourselves. We need to ask our higher self, is this information for my highest good? Right? Even when an elder speaks, we're listening, we're taking it all in. But when it comes to application, we need to discern for ourselves, right? Yeah. I know some people aren't going to agree with me on that, but that's okay. That's all right. The other thing that kind of jumped out at me about the Redwood is that through my roots, you come to understand that trivial friendships can become profound relationships. Yeah. And so it's about nurturing, right? It's about nurturing that friendship, spending time communicating, helping to understand each other, right? To find those things that you have in common, and also to identify those things that you might have some slight differences about. And that's okay, because that makes conversations really interesting, don't you think? When there's just those nuances of differences. And so maybe we can help each other to see, sense, or feel a topic or something that's going on from a little bit different perspective. Right? Yeah. Redwood. 46th card in the deck. Numerology, that's a 10, which means it's a 1 and it's about the creator. Number 1, the creator. Yeah. The last time we had this card, somebody said, that looks like a Charlie Brown tree. Christmas tree, right? And I have to agree, but this is just one branch of Redwood. Yeah. Redwood. Hmm. Here's another sentence. It says, I am lasting truth that aims you toward the ultimate wisdom and knowledge you are seeking. The ultimate wisdom and knowledge that you're seeking. So I think that's a great question for us. What is it? What is it that what kind of knowledge and wisdom are you seeking? Are you seeking it? And I'd have to say that if you're watching this live stream or this recorded live stream, chances are you are seeking knowledge and wisdom about spiritual matters. Right? Okay. It looks like the chat scroll in the studio still isn't working, so I'm going to use my phone. Okay. Scrolling. And Stephanie said, I had a week-long conversation this week about plants communicating with each other and how fungi act as the post office. Really? That makes sense to me, though. That makes sense to me because how fungi, if you've ever seen those time-lapse photography, right? And how if you watch mushrooms, right? And how they're interconnected in travel and that sort of thing. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They just don't grow in one area, but they're everywhere. So I kind of get that. They act like the post office. They're an independent source. They're supposed to be anyway. All right. So keep the Redwood information close to mind and heart, because here's the second card. Second card is squash. Squash. The 34th card in the deck, which is a 7. It's about spirit. And squash, I'm going to try to get this to focus, is feminine, west, earth, and water. This is truly a feminine card because all aspects of this card is about the sacred feminine. The west is feminine, the earth is feminine, and so is water. A lot of feminine energy here. A lot of it. How many people enjoy squash as a food item? It's one of my favorites, squash soup. It's one of my favorites. In the wintertime, acorn squash. You bake it and you've got some maple syrup on it because we make our own maple syrup. And maybe some fresh butter that you melt out over the top of it. It's really good. It's really good. And squash is one of the members of what's something called the three sisters. Have you guys heard about the three sisters? Three sisters. Let me know if you have. Jen is saying, I've been working with Redwood since the last time it was drawn, taking action on what needs to be done and also spending more time in nature. To the extent I sat quietly in a kayak on the river and experienced the platypus playing just after dusk. Oh, that's cool. My message that day from platypus was to be more playful. That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that, Jen. And for us to be able to be out and actually in nature, right, is a really good thing for us. And I know that if you are more of an urban dweller, right, more of an urban two-legged and you're surrounded by concrete, you might have a tree or two here or there, or hopefully you're close enough to a park that you can get to the park. Even if you, in your meditation, you bring to you images of nature, places that you've been, whether it's kayaking or perhaps it was a hike that you took in a national forest or someplace in nature that you just love because it's so beautiful there, right? That our mental mind really doesn't know the difference between actually being out in nature and bringing to you those images of nature and the feelings that it elicits. So if you are daydreaming or in meditation and you bring to you a memory, an image of some place in nature that you truly love, and you're remembering the colors of the trees or the flowers, or what it felt like to walk on the beach in the sand, or maybe it's the aroma of pine as you're on the hiking trail, or maybe it just rained and that smell from Grandmother Earth, that loaminess, after because everything is kind of damp and wet, and if you're out there walking, you can kind of smell that, right? So if you're in meditation or daydreaming, get those in air quotes, daydreaming and bringing those memories to you, that imagery to you, and that feeling that you have about it, it's like being really right there. Now, there's nothing better than being there in person, that is for sure. But if you are in a position where you can't get out into nature, you can take a little bit of time and get there anyway with your imagery. And that's a very feminine thing to do. Imagery is a very feminine way of communicating. Did you know that? Whereas the written word and languages is a very masculine way of communicating. Yeah. So thank you, Jen, for sharing that about the platypus. How cool is that? And Marie saying yum about the squash. I know. And Rochelle saying love it in all types. Stephanie is saying, I just pulled a bunch of squash and beans. I didn't plant any corn this year. Now, see, Stephanie knows about the three sisters. The three sisters are squash, beans, and corn. And if you plant them together in the same little area, the corn stalk and their leaves gives a little bit of shade, right? And the squash vines have something to grow up, which is crawling up the corn stalk. And the beans kind of help retain the water from raining or hydrating at the roots, right? And so they really help each other. They help each other to create and to grow. And so that comes from our ancient indigenous relatives. They would grow the corn, the squash, and the beans together, known as the three sisters. Yeah. Yep, just did that. Rochelle says, please replenish my memories about the three sisters. Oh, good. And Stephanie has a link provided to us from Amazon.com about field guide urban gardening. Good one. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie, for that. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so let's find out a little bit more about the squash from the author's point of view, okay? So the author writes, I am squash. I am gourd. I grow well unattended. Let things be. Don't try to control situations or events. My vines spread out to encompass all. I help you create your abundance through my diversity. I am the sustenance of your life. Combined with beans and corn, we are the life force. life force. So what part of that jumped out at you? I read that and I had to sit back and I had a big smile on my face. We were being told to mind our own business. Don't try to control everything. Mind your own vibration. And don't try to control other people or other events. And really, trying to control every aspect, even to an event that involves you personally, right? Because there's really very little that you can control about just about anything other than how you react to it. If you react to it, right? If it upsets you, or if it makes you happy, if it makes you angry, if it's neutral, right? That's really the only thing we have any control over. And our thoughts. We should, anyway. There was that word should. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do, is to master our earth walk. And on the medicine wheel, the one that I grew up with, right, is our journey is from the east to the west. And that's known as the blue road, or the black road, some people call it. But that's our earth walk. And we're going from the element of air to the element of water. We're going from our mental mind to our emotions, or our heart, from our thoughts to our emotions, from the east to the west. And so we learn about how we can master our thoughts. In other words, we can control what we think about. So where are you placing your energy? Are you placing it in a positive energy field or a negative energy field, right? Yeah. But we're also are given the opportunities, like you wouldn't believe, to do this, right? They're called life lessons. That's how we gain our knowledge and our wisdom and our emotions, right? And how to master our emotions so that there's lots of healing around both the mental and emotional trauma. That's what it's all about. Yeah. And so that we get to the point where we're really living our lives out of a higher frequency called love. Yeah. And we're heading down the road of joy. And for me, the joy comes from when we're on the red road, the good red road. And that's when we're taking the knowledge that we gained from the life experience, the life lesson, the wisdom that we gained, and we're heading to our community to provide a service. In other words, we're applying the wisdom that we gained through our gifts so that we're expressing our soul. And to me, that's where the joy is. That's where the joy is. Yeah. All that from squash. Squash and the Redwood. So, that controlling thing, that's a stickler, isn't it? Because we grow up with so many beliefs. I was going to sneeze and it didn't happen. Don't you hate that? I was like right there. Oh my gosh. I know. Look up into the light, right? Into the sun or into light, and it's supposed to help you sneeze. It was like right there. Well, maybe I'll come out. I don't know. Oh, allergies. Just, oh my goodness. I love the weather, but you know what it means? It means that it's pollinating out there too. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else is being said here. Hey, Peggy Bull's here too. Hi, Peggy. Stephanie is saying the corn acts as a trellis, and the beans are nitrogen fixers so that the corn does not drain the nutrients from the squash. Shades the ground and helps retain moisture. Undersquash can be 40 degrees cooler than the bare soil around the plants. Wow, that's good to know. Jen's laughing at me about my near sneeze. It was like right there, and it stopped. Okay. So what I was going to say is that wherever you grew up, in whatever belief system you grew up with, right? And sometimes it has a lot to do with a religious belief. Is kind of the basis of what we think or feel that we can or should control, right? I know I have some relatives from my family that tend to try to control a lot of things. Their children, different aspects around the house and all of that. And my mom was the same way too, very controlling. And I understand that some of that, if not almost all of it, came what they felt is a place of love because they were trying to protect their children, right? But it's that controlling thing that really, I think, plays a major life lesson. Don't you think? Yeah, I do. When you try to control so many things that it really, really messes up your life, doesn't it? Because you almost feel like you can never be good enough because you have to control this and you have to control that and you have to control this. So you're constantly checking in and trying to make sure that the correct people get told the correct things, and it is a huge absorber of your energy. Huge. All right. Rochelle says, I'm not as bad about control as I was 15 years ago. Yeah, but still need to work on it. Oh, I know. And I think that even if we're really aware of it, and we get to the point in our life where there's not much I can do about that, I can send some love in that direction. I can say a prayer for that, whatever that is. And I can kind of sit back, and if they need help, maybe they'll ask me. And I can do the best I can to assist them. And I think once we're aware of it, it's a little bit easier to identify, much like what Rochelle said, working on it, or is knowing that it's present. And then you can make different decisions. It's when we don't see it that's the problem, I think. Yeah. Did you ever notice, and this could just be me, but did you ever notice that for those people who do try to control a lot of different aspects, not just in their own life, but other people's, is that they tend to have a really close relationship with arthritis? Did you ever notice that? There's some energetics around arthritis where they say that you're holding on to something really tight and you won't let it go. Right? That's one of the energetics of arthritis. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one. But I think the best thing we can do is just to be aware of it, is to notice it. And when you notice it, then you if you turn your focus or your attention to it, you have the opportunity to choose differently. You have that opportunity. Yeah. See, I was like that when I was a teenager and younger, because it felt like I was the peacemaker in my family. I was the one that was trying to make sure everybody was happy and everybody was taken care of, and nobody rocked the boat. kind of thing, want peace here. Yeah, that's how I had my first ulcer before I was at the age of 13. And so I had to learn at a very early age is you can't control everything. You got to let it go, you know? You got to allow them to live their own lives and make their own mistakes, if there are mistakes. Because who are you to say it's a mistake? That was the conversation I had early on with myself, and actually with the creator. It's like, but then again, who am I to judge that? I don't know the whole story. I only know this much about it. Yeah. So that helped me in my later life, in my adult life, is yeah, I don't want to have an ulcer again. That was not a good time. Um, and so is to be able to let some things go, right? Yeah. But you guys didn't know that about me, huh? That early age ulcer. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at these two cards together. Okay. So we have Redwood, right? It's the grandmother spirit of the forest. That's an elder. That is a very strong, powerful, feminine energy. Can you see? Can you sense how much feminine energy is coming from these cards? Right? The only item that is not feminine is the planet Mars. So we could say, look how much feminine energy it takes to balance out Mars, or vice versa. Mars is such a strong, sacred or divine masculine energy. Look at how much feminine energy it takes to balance that out, right? George is here with me today, and he just laid on my foot. 75 pounds on my foot. That's a lot of feminine energy to balance out the planet Mars, right? It's a lot of feminine energy. And this deck really is all about balance, balancing out the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine energies that we all carry in different degrees, in different ways. The similarity is that we all have it. And here we are, right, on Grandmother Earth, Kokiniski Khan in Potawatomi, Unchi Maka in Lakota, Pachamama, right? And yet it's a school of duality, of polarity. And yet the earth is feminine. Makes you think, doesn't it? Makes you ponder that just a bit. And that's also part of our journey here, is to bring those aspects of our lives into balance so that we come into the understanding and the remembering of what it's like to be in a unified field. Even though we may have duality around us, on the outside of us, that we can still be in the unified field, in the creator's field, even though we are here doing our spiritual experience in a physical body. Yeah, that duality. Bringing it into the oneness is another way of putting that. But really, we already know what it's like to be at a spiritual level, at our soul level. We know what it's like to be in a unified field, because that's where we all come from, is from that unified field. It's not until we actually come into the physical world that we experience that duality and that polarity. So with these two cards, right? With these two cards, with a large energy field of feminine energy, we have the planet Mars energy coming in to create a balance. So that when we take in the information from these cards, the essence of the meaning behind the cards that's here for us today, we can take it in a way that is balanced, which means that we are sensing more of the information and feeling it at our core, which is our heart center. And for some people, it might even be in the solar plexus, right? Your will center, your inner sun. Yeah. So how do you feel when you look at these two cards? Because usually what happens when we're at this point of the show is I'm asking you to call your spiritual team in, right? Your entire team. And if you haven't done your grounding, is to do your grounding, take a big deep breath in, and to take in the information coming from the cards. To see with your physical eyes, yes, but to also see the unseen. In other words, we're sensing, feeling, and seeing the information and taking in what's optimal for each one of us on an individual basis, right? But today, you can do all of that. But my question is what does it feel like to you to be in this energy field of a large amount of feminine energy being balanced out by a very large sacred masculine energy of Mars? And sometimes it's hard to put a word to it, right? A vocabulary word to it. That feeling. I was just checking in with myself and my spiritual team and sensing what does that feel like, to try to put that into a word or words. It feels, what I'm feeling is the water energy with it. Fluid. Yeah. Because water takes on the form of the container, no matter what the container is. Water will take on the form of the container. So even though it may be a masculine container, the water is still feminine. Yeah, it's a large feeling of feminine energy, that's for sure. Rochelle's saying, I feel calm, very calm. Yeah. And so we're reaching a balance, right? A balance of male and female energies. Calm is a good word too. Female energies, it's a very nurturing energy. When it's out of balance, It's a controlling energy, right? Smothering. So, in it being balanced, a very large balanced female energy, there's a lot of nurturing here. Between the redwood and the squash. Nurturing. It's another good word. All right. Very good. You know, whatever resonated with you today, with the information that was shared, with the conversation that was shared, whatever resonated with you, my suggestion is to embrace it, no matter what it is. And then watch, see, sense, or feel how the energy of today is unfolding around you and where this information can be helpful, right? And asking your spiritual team for that assistance so that you can understand it at a deeper, wider perspective. Right? And if it didn't resonate, that's okay. Don't worry about it. No worries. There's always tomorrow's cards and the possibility that you'll resonate with the information in the cards tomorrow. Perhaps today you're the messenger, right? That maybe you know somebody that is looking for the information or possibly looking for a spiritual community to be a part of. And you can just share the link with them of the recorded show and then you're done. That's all you had to do. Yeah. All right. So, what I want to share with you in the last couple of minutes that we have here is that we have a couple of classes that are coming up that you may be interested in. Let's see, I have a drum making workshop that's coming up on August 17th. We have availability for like 1 or 2 more people to join us if you're interested. We're making either elk or buffalo hand drums, Native American style hand drums. And it's a day of ceremony. We start with the ceremony and we end with the ceremony, and the entire drum making experience is held in the container of ceremony. And so talk about balance between male and female. Yeah, the female is the drum and the drumstick is the male. And when you have them together, you have balanced energies. Yeah, talk about balance. So that's August 17th, Saturday, August 17th. And then what we have coming up in October, I think it's the weekend of the 11th, is Polly Joe's Healing Retreat. That's Awakening to Your True Potential. And it's about your soul purpose and clearing away debris in order to identify and to feel your soul purpose, right? It's a really powerful weekend. This will be the 3rd one that she's done here at Star Nations in person, and let me tell you, big medicine. It's really, really a huge weekend. And then in November, I want to say it's the 27th of November, is the Journey to Remembering, and it's a class that I'm teaching all about remembering, being in the love frequency. And there's also healing that goes along with this one. But we're actually preparing for the activation of your Merkaba, which is your light body, activation of your Merkaba from your heart. And so that is the weekend of the 27th of November. So if you're interested in any of those, you can go to starnations.org and click on the Academy page link, and you'll see all the information there and how to register and the whole thing is right there. starnations.org. Okay. All right. So, one more thing. Talking about the Academy. On Thursday night, August 8th, at the Star Nations closed group, Academy closed group, here at Facebook, is that we're having our monthly free mini class. And it's part 2 of how to stay in meditation with Orchard Franklin and Carl Franklin. It's part 2 of that. And so if you can join us, that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on August 8th, Thursday, August 8th. And it's all about how to stay in meditation. You know, when you're meditating and something pulls you out, your focus is not on your meditation anymore. It's over here or over there. Or, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So if you could join us, that'd be great. It's a free mini class at Star Nations Academy closed group here at Facebook. If you are not a member of that group, just ask to join, and Julie Shumway Hill or I will get you all set up. Okay? All right. Yay. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. She says the the class Journey to Remembering is November 15th. Thank you, Rochelle. I appreciate that. Yeah, and Stephanie is posting the information about the different classes. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. All right, so with that, please enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central for the Spiritual Roundtable, where we'll have another spiritual conversation about the divination cards drawn in the morning. Okay? All right. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.